Welcome back. This is part 2 of Swanky Paint Alpha Plus 11 video. If you just joined us for this video, make sure you check out the first one so that you can know all about the features of the ultimate undo. Undo. Yeah. Anyways, for this one, we're gonna keep the video short, about maybe 10 minutes, hopefully less. We're gonna be talking about dithering.
To dither or not to dither.
To dither.
How do you make up your mind when you're dithering?
I have no idea.
So this is a new window. You can see it under, where is it there? Dither. So that's this window here. But you see how there's nothing there. It's because it's designed to take a 24-bit image and dither it down to whatever palette you're using with some, sliders so that you can do it magically and see what's happening. Yes. So we're going to load, where are we?
True color image.
Right.
Which is massive. Ooh! What is that creature? It seems to be
looking at me.
A lot of limbs and upside down. Crawling chaos on the carpet. Of sorts.
So we've got all these little twiddly bits over here that you can fiddle with.
So when you load a true color image, that window will pop up.
Yeah, it opens automatically, and if you apply, is when you finish doing your dithering, it'll disappear as well. So it pops up, you choose how to dither, and then you apply it, and it goes. First thing I'm going to do is scale the image down a bit. I think about half size is good.
Okay.
50. Okay, so this file was 640/480 to start with. So now it's 320/240. So it's a nice proper low res. The other thing you need to know is up here, this is processing. So this is part of the dithering. So this is the actual image that we've loaded in.
Yep.
And you can't draw on it now. So it's like it's a locked image. You're not allowed to draw anything.
You're in preview mode right now.
Yeah. So if I try and draw it, just moves it around as if I was trying to move it around all the time. So the processing on and off, you can see it automatically does it. And it automatically does it as you fiddle with these bars as well.
So it's real-time processing. So it can be quite heavy in using your computer.
If it's a huge image, it's going to slow you down a lot.
Yeah.
At the moment, it's trying to fit that image into this palette. So the palette we've got is the Swanky 32, so I could choose a different palette. I could go for like EGA. It tries to fit the EGA palette.
Yep.
When you get like things like EGA, it's best to knock the contrast up a bit. You can see what's happening to the original image as well. So you can see, obviously that looks like a horrible image before you even do anything. So the closer you are to that, the closer it's going to be able to pick the right colours.
Yeah.
You put the brightness up and down a bit as well. So that looks like an EGA image, doesn't it? I like the hue.
The hue.
The hue. When you move
the hue
back and forth, you get the hueing. Different palette.
It's a different palette. So Pico.
Everyone likes Pico.
Yeah. It's got this really nice candy flavor feel. So I think the contrast is a bit too high. Can you lower the contrast?
I don't like to lower the contrast. Lower the contrast.
Oh, okay.
See, it's a very high contrast palette. You don't get much choice.
I suppose it's very extreme, isn't it?
I mean, the other thing that's good to do, I'm just going to reset everything, is the saturation. So knocking the saturation up gets it closer to colours. Maybe a bit of saturation, a bit of contrast.
So the other thing you could do is to build the palette.
Yeah, so as well as using the palette that you give it when you choose palette, you can also tell it to build a palette of so many colours. So that's 16 there. So I say build palette, it will pick 16 colours, and as you can see, it's decided to pick quite yellow. The reason it's picked quite yellow is it picks it after you've applied this. So it's trying to pick the colours in this. If I reset my things, it'll go back to that. And if I pick the palettes now, you'll see they're more natural colours.
Yeah.
So when you say pick palette, the hue, the red, the green, the brightness, the contrast, that's all applied to the image before it goes and decides the colours it's going to use.
So there's different levels of how you get your palette from the image. If you click the process flash button, the electric button, you can see the image before and after you do your effects in the dither window. And then you click the build palette, and then you get this wonderful palette of 16 colors, which when you click on that button up there...
You can't reach up there.
No. Ooh, my finger's gone.
Wait,
Okay.
I'll go with the mouse. Go on, poke it. Up. There.
And there you go, we got that. Okay, so you have this wonderful 16 colors, and you can still edit it to whatever you want and blend it with, say, white. So now you get more reddish and more purplish.
This is going a bit slow,
green.
you'll see, it's because it's doing a remap of the...
It's real-time processing of whatever you're doing right now. Yeah.
Right,
Yes.
so I've made my own palette,
That's your own palette.
and it's paletizing to that. And as you adjust these colors, it's repaletizing the entire image all the time. So it's a little bit processor heavy.
So if you turn off if you click on the electric button, you can see the image is still as it is before. And you can do the contrast, and now it looks like that.
There's one other thing, which is the processing has its own window, and this is meant for restricting the palette even more. So this currently it's set up so we can do attribute clash. So if I switch to spectrum mode,
Which is famous for its clashing of attributes.
I mean, you can do attribute clash with a Commodore 64 as well. But we're going to do spectrum. Okay, so the magic numbers for spectrum attribute clash is you put a 2 in there, which says we should only allow 2 colours per 8x8 block.
Yep.
And then we put an 8 in here, and it says that each of the 8x8 blocks can only pick colours from an 8 colour palette. So that means that you either have to use this 8 colours or this 8 colours.
Yep.
In each block, and that's the rules of spectrum attribute clash.
And there you go.
And there we go. So we've got an attribute clashed cat.
So if you zoom in,
you
you can see 8x8. There's only like 2, limited to 2 colors per 8x8 square.
Yeah, so you can see it happening in sort of real time.
Yeah.
You're probably better off having an image that you can convert to this a bit better, because the one we've got is it's not very good, is it? It's not very colourful. You want to start with lots of primary colours if you're going to make a spectrum.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have lots of primary colours, you're not going to find any colours in the palette that you actually need. So you've got your attribute, you've got your dithering, and we still can't actually paint anything here. So to actually turn this into an index palette, an actual image that we can edit, we're going to have to click on apply. So I'm just going to apply this. Right, and now this is something that I can actually draw on. So if I pick a colour, it's going quite slow. It's going slow because it's doing all the processing of the attribute clash.
Let's turn it off. There you go.
So you can see that I've drawn in this really bright colour, but it's decided the best thing to do
is to just delete it.
Is to turn it blue, because that's closer to what's in there already. So it's decided that the blue and the black... There we go. So you have to put quite a bit in before it goes, oh yes, I see you wanted that colour. So it looks at the number. It does quite a bit of thinking.
Mathematical calculations.
Yeah, a bit of thinking on all of this to make it happen. But you can see it's rather slow. I think I need to do something about that. But it does work for now. But that's why you can turn it on and off. So we've got attribute and we've got the dithering. And you saw that the dithering happened. So this is, we've got undo now. Ooh, well, it went back to an old palette. So we've got the undo now. So it actually remembered the palettes that we were mucking about with.
Oh, right.
So, and obviously the image doesn't work so well when it's in the old palette. So the attributes is under processing, which you can get from there, and you can also get from that drop down there. So it's attribute width, attribute height, number of colours in each of those squares, and then the number of how many colours in a palette per square. So if you set all of this up to 256, that basically turns it off. And what happened there is I accidentally switched to a different image. So you can see the list of images there, and there's the one I was messing around with, and there's the one that we loaded up at the start. Fat fingers. And I have fat fingers, yes. So that's, you can load in images, you can paletize them, you can see the real-time sort of messing around of the hue saturation.
So you can get quite complex images, effects with very, very simple rules. So just play around with the dithering, and if you are trying to find a certain effects that you're looking for but you don't know how to get to it, just write us an email or put in a discussion in the forums, and we'll get back to you.
Magically.
Ooh,
Yeah.
look at that. It's pretty cool.
So yeah, you can load in true color, and you got a bit of control over how it converts it to pixels. And the processing is a work in progress at the moment, so it's a bit slow in some cases.
Find any bugs, so if you're going through any problems, just drop us a note.
Yep. But there we go, dithering and processing.
And there you go. So look out for part 3, which is coming up next.
Yep, comes
Bye.
after 2.